Okay, welcome everybody to Muffins with Morgan. If you've been here before, we started it in 2020 to 2022, so we're bringing it back. We're going to be here weekly on Friday. And if you came in from the newsletter or saw the post or have been on this before, our goal is to bring in someone who is a Sales Team 6 graduate. So Sales Team 6 is the program that we run with SDR and AE teams at my company, Amp Social. So we got Ryan here today who's going to tell us a little bit more. People in the community that are doing fantastic. And then also leaders sharing their best practices on what's actually working. So excited for you all to be here. As people chime in, we'll give like 2 minutes. Let us know where you're tuning in from and what's going on. Ryan, how are you feeling today as everybody comes in?
Morgan, I'm excited. I think I told you this already, but I didn't realize it was the first one back. I feel like the honored guest, excited to be here on this Friday morning. I've I got my scone ready. I don't have a muffin this morning, but I'm excited to be
It's
here.
all good. I got the people are gonna be like, you cheated, but I did not. I got the croissant based muffin here. So I'm also locked in, ready to go. Costco comes through in the clutch. Costco comes in the clutch. But let's go on everybody that's coming in. We got Daytona in the house. We got the UK in the house. We got shout out to Atlanta in the house. More Atlanta. We got Germany coming in. Maine. We got a lot of people coming in. Raleigh, Montreal. As people come in, shout out to Boston, Chile. I'm gonna ask this question to you all, and then we're gonna get straight into it because obviously y'all are here for the information. Ryan, if there was one place in the world that you could go, but you that it's only the last place that you can go. You got to stay there for
I
at least
gotta
a
stay
year.
there.
You got to stay there for a year. So you go there, but you have to stay there for a year. What would you pick? Audience, say
Uh, that's an easy answer. I would go to Mexico City. We spent my wife and I spent a bunch of time there, and I think
yeah,
a year would be like about the perfect amount of time.
yeah.
Maybe even longer, but I'm not going to consider myself trapped. There's a lot to see in Mexico City.
I've heard Mexico City is a great spot.
It's awesome.
Shout
And it also has, I know that you have had a lot of love for Japan recently. It has a lot of Japanese influence. So there's like amazing sushi in Mexico City. You know,
That sounds not believable, but I believe you, but it sounds not believable at the same time.
I've had like one of the best sushi meals of my life in Mexico City. So
Really? All
yeah.
right. Well, I know where I'm about to tap in. I know where I'm about to go. All right. Shout out to Mexico City. I didn't know they were holding down the Japanese culture. Yeah, I'd pick Japan 100%. It's not even close, but I did not know they were holding it down like that. So shout out to them.
Do
Well,
you have a city in Japan? That's a big country. I feel like you're copping out by
so if I had to pick, I'd pick Osaka.
all right.
I pick Osaka. It reminded me of Atlanta, and it was super urban. Like I was talking to people about like like early 90s hip hop. I did not know they knew that. I didn't know they had a game like that. So we were chopping it up heavy. It was super cool. So I pick Osaka if I had to pick anywhere.
There you go. Amazing.
All right. All right, so let's get into it. So well, I did not get the five. I did not get it. But next time, because I'm going back this year. So what are we here to do here today? If you're coming in and for the first time, the goal here is to walk through Ryan's process, through everything that he learned through the workshop that we did with him and his company, and he's going to walk through some best practices. But with that being said, let's do some introductions. So I'll introduce myself and then we'll split the Ryan. So me, host, if you've been here before, my name is Morgan Ingram. I've been in sales development, outbound, this world for 10 years now. And I've learned a lot through cold calling, social selling, etc. But today is not about me, it's all about Ryan. But I run a company called Amp Social. We do BDR, AE workshops to help people with conversational skills so they can book more quality meetings. So that's what we're here today to talk about. But I'm gonna flip it to Ryan. Ryan, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself. If you have a fun fact, feel free to share with everybody, and then we're gonna dig right in.
Amazing. Yeah, so Ryan Gannet, I am calling in from Denver, Colorado. We got to get some West Coast energy going in the chat here, but I am an account executive at Stepful. We're a healthcare workforce development company. So we help train frontline folks into critical roles within large health systems. So think about medical assistant all the way through nurses. So some of those folks that are going to take care of you if you have to go to the ER or kind of any hospital treatments. We're helping train them into that next clinical role. And we work with hospital systems to kind of build those workforce pipelines there. I spent my career in healthcare and workforce development, so I would say newer to the sales realm of things in the last few years, but learned a lot from Morgan. And I think that like lived experience in the space has been helpful to kind of bring that to life when I'm having conversations and working with different folks in healthcare.
And that's what I'm really excited about today is because you're reaching out in a space that, you're not reaching out to sales leaders. You're not reaching out to market leaders. It's different. You're in the healthcare space. So we're gonna walk through right now Ryan's videos. And then as we walk through these videos, y'all, if you have questions, drop it in the chat, drop it in the Q&A. Obviously, we're gonna have some fun here. But Ryan, I'm gonna flip it over to you and we're gonna get right to it.
Amazing. Maybe just to like set the stage a little bit, I think as I think about outbound in today's environment, um, there's a lot of and maybe an over ability to just send emails into the blast. And I think a lot of before I started working with Morgan, there is a sense of just like yelling into the void, like setting up automated email campaigns, really
Yeah.
focused on, hey, what are the features? What's my company do for you? And it just felt like, oh, I'm just going to blast and blast and blast and hope something comes back. I think there's still potentially a place for that in the right spots, but what has resonated with this kind of prospecting strategy and in particular sending LinkedIn video messages is that it feels like I'm actually connecting with someone. I think about it as a bit of like an extension of a cold call, and when it's well researched, there's actually a reason for connecting. And when you send that video message, I'm actually hoping that someone on the other side wants to engage, right? I think that and not to get too meta here, but we're in a culture that like people desire that, right? I want to go hang out with friends. There wants to be a real human on the other side. Am I just going to have a back and forth email, bot exchange with an AI? Feels really different. And so I think my advice would be like just go for it. I know Morgan and I talked about this. There's moments where I stumble in my videos and I still send it because I think it makes you feel more human, right? Like this is a
Yeah.
something that you get into the discipline of, and then it starts to kind of build the track record for there. So I'm gonna share my screen. Feel free to ask questions in the chat as I'm pulling this up, and I'm just gonna play two videos here. Oh.
Hey, Rachel, the reason for my video is I saw your post about the trade-offs between metrics and people and really resonated with the message and just the way that you have to hold both of those things in tension in healthcare settings. At Stepful, we're helping a lot of urgent cares train and develop their people into higher level clinical roles, filling roles like MA, even LPN in some states, to help build that pipeline and build the connection while improving operations because of retention and just some of the connective tissue within the organization. If you're open to it, I'd love to connect and hear more about how things are going to express well and see if there might be room for partnership. Thanks for the connection and love your post on LinkedIn.
Cool. All right, but before we go to the next video, I wanna throw some things in the chat. So chat, what did y'all think of the video? Talk to us. What'd you feel like? What'd you feel like it? I think the biggest thing is just treating it like a conversation, right? Like, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Here's what's going on, etc. How did you feel doing that video? Walk us through those steps, then we'll go to the next one. But appreciate everybody in the chat, drop it in. And like I said, if you have questions, drop them in the chat or the Q&A so that we can answer it. But Ryan, talked about this process. People said authentic, human. Were you reading us? Did you like read a script beforehand? Did you listen to hype music? Like, tell us what you did beforehand to make that feel
Yeah.
conversational.
Great question. I've done this enough recently that generally I'm not doing a script. I do when I'm sending a video, I try to type out like the three or four bullets that I need to hit.
Okay.
What do I think is the point that is going to resonate with this potential audience? So a lot of the work that we do is around filling open roles, and so if it's a talent acquisition leader, there's certain kind of buzzwords or points there that I want to make sure I hit. If it's a workforce leader who's thinking a little bit more about internal mobility, then there's this different set of points and different set of proof points. So I try to put some bullets together. I think when I get scripted, then I feel a little robotic and I'm like, am I reading the script? Am I looking at my phone? I want it to come across. And then the other thing that I would say, I did cut my finger this morning. I'm like, yeah.
Next
I'm
level dedication.
it's,
He's out
just for the just to come across as real here. That's hilarious. But I think the other thing is when I'm doing prospecting on LinkedIn, looking for other folks who are posting or engaged on LinkedIn. Right, actually, before we jumped on, I was telling Morgan, like, video messages just might not be for everyone. But if someone is already demonstrating, hey, I'm using LinkedIn as a place where I want to connect with others or a place where I want to learn what's happening in the environment, it can be a really good tool. That's a great signal to say, hey, this is a person who might resonate with this type of connection or this type of video message. So I know it's one of the filters as you think about kind of in sales nav doing that dynamic. But then when I'm getting ready for the video, doing some research on the company is a big
there.
part of it. And then what are those key bullets that I want to get across in the message?
Yeah, I really like that. So for everybody in here, let's talk to the chat. Put a one in the chat if you have sent a video before. Put a two if you've never sent one before. Let's see where the pulse is at. I would say like for everybody listening in, if you are a two, I would highly recommend what Ryan is saying. Writing down the bullet points of what you want to say, I think is better than writing it completely out because I found that when I first started doing it, I would try to read the script and I sounded crazy. Like I was at gunpoint, like, yo, are you good, Morgan? Like, no, I was not. I was not good. So I'm glad that you mentioned the bullet points because I think that's a really good start for people if you're twos. But if you're a one and you maybe aren't seeing the consistency or the things that you want, I would highly recommend to do those bullet points. I think it's a really good point.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I just like try to smile for at least like a minute or two before I send the video. Uh, Again, that how do you come across as human? Reading off a script of like stone face is not going to be the best message there. And then let people know why you're reaching out. I know that this is something, Morgan, you talk a lot about, but like let's not beat around the bush. Hey, I'm sending you a video because I saw X, Y, and Z thing and I wanted to connect about it and see where it goes.
100%. Cool. All right. So that was video number one. People like that one. Let's show the other video.
Great. Morgan, feel free to beat this up as well.
Maggie, congrats on the new role at Life Care Centers. Reason for my video today is I saw several of the open LPN positions that you all have right now. Steffel's currently working with Trilogy to build talent pipelines of their current CNAs and other frontline staff into LPNs. We have a 12-month program that we offer kind of rural delivery all over the state of Michigan and Ohio. And would love to connect and see if there might be opportunity to help you fill some of those vacancies and build career pathways for your employees to make sure that all your clinics are fully staffed and you're providing great care to your employees. So look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for the connection.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the chat again. If y'all want to dive in, get some feedback, now's your time. How'd you feel about that video versus the other one? If you felt any differences or if you felt the same, chat, talk to us. Uh,
I think I felt, yeah, go for it.
no, go ahead.
I felt similar about that one. I don't know if you caught it at the end. I did goof up and providing great patient care for your employees is actually for your patients. So I was like, do I reshoot this or do I just send it? I hit send. I
Yeah,
also wanted to show it's a small goof, but it's like, okay, that's not exactly, I just call that out. Always trying to get better here. But this one, I think, um, was particularly relevant. Because of the new role. So like, hey, this is a person who I felt like we could catch them at a really good time as they move into
yeah.
this space. There's a lot of relevance. I think this one, just given some of the geographic constraints with this program that we have, felt like really nail on the head. Hey, I know exactly where your centers are. You're based in Michigan. We're doing the same thing in Michigan. Can we talk about it? So that was really connected there. Larry, I see your question there. I got a reply to one of these. Both of these were sent last week. So this is not there. We'll see. I think another thing the one I haven't gotten a reply to, planning to just follow up and say, hey, do you have any feedback on this video? Like, I think there's some prompts that you can kind of help people re-engage, make it easy for someone to jump in and give you a reply. The deals are not closed yet. I think Morgan also has some screenshots from there. And then data on reply rates. Great question. I probably way better than my email reply rate. I try to send 4 to 5 video messages, maybe a few more every day. So, my goal is 20 to 25 a week as I think about that. And then I'm typically getting, I would say, anywhere between 2 to 3 replies on these. And then 1 to 2 meetings a week coming out of these messages. So that's kind of the funnel there. Obviously, right, it's not 100%. Nothing's going to be 100%, but that's a way better rate than, hey, I sent 1,000 emails and I got 2 replies, or whatever the rate is on some of those email things as well. And then also, I'm just seeing all the questions come through platform. I'm using my iPhone. Like, this is, I will pull up generally my computer with bullets and whoever the contact is, and then I'm just filming on my iPhone. Again, like, I think that's how people engage. Hopefully, we can just grab them while they're scrolling on their way home from work. And I think I have a mentor in the space who actually posts often on LinkedIn about how LinkedIn has become just like spam blast in his inbox. He's a pretty senior leader, and has posted multiple times about, oh, this, don't show up and make a connection with me if you don't have any interest in, one, what I'm doing, and two, actually building a professional relationship. And I think that videos like this start to emphasize that I actually do have a desire in building a professional relationship with you. Morgan's going to show one of the replies recently that I got, who was from a woman who was maybe not the top level decision maker at the company that I was reaching out to, but they're
Yep.
doing some really interesting work. And I genuinely wanted to just connect because we're in the same space doing workforce development. And so that becomes an authentic conversation. If there's an opportunity there, amazing. And I think those things come when you show up and do the work the right way, the outcomes will speak for themselves. I think, right, everyone's in sales because they're chasing some kind of outcome and wanting to close those deals. But I
Right.
think that takes care of itself if you're doing the process the right way and showing up authentically. So,
100% agree. I'm gonna dive into, people have some questions around getting people accepted. I don't want to go too deep here because I want to stay on the topic. And also,
yeah,
Larry, you asked for some responses, and we'll show that here in a minute just so you can see the benefit of this. As I say this obviously is going to depend on your persona and the region you're in and what you're doing, but like without the context, broad view, if you're looking to increase your acceptance rate, so for the clients that we work with, SDR teams, AE teams, when they're looking to get net new people in their network, psychologically, you want to think about when are more people going to be active on us on LinkedIn or on social media. So more people are active on social media, if you look up the data, is in the evening time. So that's when they're coming out of work, they've done all the stuff they need to do for the day, and they're like, cool, let me get a moment to just do something different and scroll or whatever it is. And they go to LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever it is. So if you're looking to increase your acceptance rate, send your connection requests during the evening time. So like three, no, actually probably like 4:30, 5 o'clock, 8 p.m. local time, wherever you live, you will see higher acceptance rates if you do that. And you want to make sure your profile is legit, obviously, but then also you want to send blank connection requests. So blank connection request means you don't add anything into the note. I know it's counterintuitive to LinkedIn's advice. I know everyone gets in a tizzy about this when I say it. I have the data to prove to you that it has a higher acceptance rate almost, not every time, because that's absolute, but almost every single time. So I just wanted to answer that question for y'all on that one across the board. So we just want to make sure that we could address that. Anyways, back to you, Ryan.
and maybe, yeah, just to add a few, like, we'll call it logistics around that, Morgan. I generally, it doesn't mean that you have to be prospecting at 8 p.m. You can be if you want to be, but that does not, that's not the requirement there.
No, no, no.
Um, I generally build lists during the day, save the right contacts, put them in is it an account list? Is it a relevant program list? Like, what's kind of the connective tissue here? And then you can go in on your phone at 7, 8 p.m. and just hit connect, 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 connect. So like that takes you 10 seconds, and you can be do it while you're cooking dinner, different things like that. You can also record videos at any point and then send them at different times throughout the day. So it does take up some room on your phone, and you got to make sure that you delete them. I'm just joking about that. Sometimes my wife will be like, "What is this video, Ryan? You sound ridiculous." And I'm like, "It works."
Hit my number.
I know it's not as cute as our daughter, but it works. So you can record them at any point and send them when you want. It's just a few notes on process there.
Cool, awesome. I believe. And then Thomas, are you connecting first before seeing the video? I guess that's a good question there. Like, I have seen people, they will send a like a Vidyard link or a like a Loom link inside the connection request. And then that's the way that they're looking to send videos. So I guess have you thought about that? Kind of going to Thomas's question, or are you just like, hey, once you connect, you're gonna send the normal, hey, iPhone video, go from there.
I've done it once I send the normal iPhone video. I'm trying to reduce friction to get to that video, right? And I think someone who's willing to connect with a stranger randomly um, is, then you've started to already narrow your funnel of who's going to respond to a video message. I think if I got a video, if I've just found if you send a Vidyard link or you start to put URLs in a connection request, like it becomes a little bit like I'm going to ignore that. Hey,
Yeah.
this is a person. I think you can also do a lot around your like tag name or how you describe yourself on LinkedIn. So when someone's getting a request from me, Ryan Gannet, workforce development, and talent pipelines. Now, if you're a workforce leader in the healthcare space, that's already signaling, hey, this is maybe someone who's interesting to connect with. Then, if you do accept that connection request, there is then the next step to be able to um, send the message, get that video message going.
I want to, so I see Corey's question and I want to show the responses that you got, Ryan, and this will answer the question.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and then, so here are the responses, right, from these videos. Now, Ryan, you can give us context on which videos these are. But the reason I'm showing you all this, and the reason when we do work with SDR teams and AE teams, and people like you all, it's the focus is how can we get the prospect or the potential client to compliment us on our outreach? The
Yeah.
bar, we all know this, like the bar is relatively low. Like if you all looked at your emails right now or your inboxes, a lot of AI slop, right? That's very easy to produce. The videos, though, if you make them personalized, yes, it will take a little bit more effort, sure. Yet this is the type of responses that you're going to get, right? This is something that not only people will remember, but when you hop on the discovery call, they will know, okay, this is a different type of sales rep that I'm dealing with, which allows you to ask better discovery and you're gonna have more trust and all the things we talk about, right? So I'm gonna pause here. Ryan, tell us a little bit more about this response, so everybody has a little more context here.
Yeah, so this is a workforce manager at a um, multi-state hospital system. They have spent a bunch of time on LinkedIn and seemed really invested. Also had an interesting career path from education into healthcare. And so I send a personalized note, hey, you have a really interesting career path. Feels like we're both doing interesting stuff and trying to think about how frontline talent can grow their careers. Would you be open to a connection? This is the response. I think it speaks for itself. So you all know I got this response on a Wednesday. We did meet that Friday. So like this isn't a, oh, here's a scheduling link and I'll talk to you in in 4 weeks. Like
See ya.
there was there it drove some urgency because it felt, I think, human and like honest in the way that we were able to connect. Um, and I sent the video on a Friday. She responded on a Wednesday, and then we met on the Friday to give you just like the full timeline there, which is also like that's not a delay, right? Like if we're thinking about this, it wasn't like this sat in an inbox for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we're still in conversation with this organization, and it's been going really well. But I think that kind of speaks to it is always personalized. I think right
Right.
um, at that point. And once you start to get into the habit of it, I would say I'm spending 30 minutes, maybe an hour doing these and putting a block on my calendar to say, like, here's when I'm going to do this. There's some prep time that goes into that, but you start to get into a habit of it. I think I said this already, but I view it a bit as like an extension of cold calling, or you can think about it as cold calling to like a one tier warmer prospect. Like this person has already connected with you on LinkedIn. You have some really relevant information about their organization because you've done your research, and then you're doing a message like this.
Makes complete sense. Thomas is fired up. Who else is fired up to do some video? Put in the chat if you're fired up. Like I'm fired. I'm about to make videos after this. Like I'm ready to go. Cool. We got Thomas fired up. We got Annabelle's fired up. Burning up. All right, he's a whole nother level. My show's taking a whole nother level. Shot in a rod, etc. Okay, we got some good questions coming in. I want to show this other reply. So let's go to this one. Ryan, tell us a little bit more about this one that you got on this reply. And again, y'all see this here. They're calling out the creativity. They're calling out the personal approach.
Yeah, so this was a is a Fortune 50 um, retail company, and this is a pretty senior leader there. And so I sent this message very targeted to some of their open roles and what they need, and then sent over the information. We're also in conversations with these guys, but I would say that this similarly. I'm not gonna lie. This video was a little more nervous. There was not as much like, oh, let's just hope we connect. Like I think you get to that point with familiarity, but um, it showed in this is someone who mentioned they're getting probably thousands of outreach every day and responding to very few of them. And so I think that's the signal, especially when you're trying to sell into senior leaders who are filtering out the noise. A video message. Morgan talks about this as breaking the pattern, right? How many people are just like, oh, it's another ad, it's another ad, it's another ad. Like if something snaps in there and says like this feels a little different, you catch someone's attention, and that's really what you're trying to do more than anything else. Can I grab your attention for 40 seconds? And if
Yeah,
so, you're probably going to give me the right for 5 minutes. And if I can grab your attention in 5 minute intro to a meeting, then you're going to give me the right for the next 15 to 20 minutes of that meeting, right? So you're kind of building that credibility as you go and how you gain
100%.
attention.
Yeah. Uh, I want to point to let's go to a couple questions because I know Ryan, you want to talk process here. Rod mentioned you're keeping things brief. That's what we talk about is be brief, be brilliant, be gone. Like that's what I always coach people on is that it's not about being super long-winded because there's no reason to do a 3-minute video, right? Nobody's gonna watch you waffle for that long. Trust me, I've done that and it doesn't work. Be brief, be brilliant, be gone. I think Ryan does a really good job for that. You're probably getting what, 35, 45 seconds for each video is what
Yeah,
it looks like.
that's
Yeah,
the goal.
you just want to stay in that lane.
Um, yeah, I think as soon as you cross like 55 seconds, like if you see that thing click to a minute, they're also going to see how long it is. And I think the mental hurdle of 1.01 even is like, too long for me. You keep it underneath a minute, you can kind of go from there. Uh, uh, Thomas, I see your question on focusing on the problem, and I was going to mention this in the length of the video. I think a short video forces you to distill into what is the key thing that I want to communicate to this person. I found that it gets me out of sort of talking about features, talking about how great our own company is, and really thinking about what is going to pattern interrupt for this person? What are they probably thinking about in their day to day? And if I can hit that, hey, are you thinking about filling this open role? Hey, are you thinking about building a pathway for your talent so that you have retention opportunities? If I can kind of connect with whatever that thing is, we can talk about features later. We can talk about the way the product comes to life later. I'm trying to get your attention, and under 30 seconds is going to force me to be really clear on what do you care about and not, oh, here's a laundry list of everything we can do for you.
Let's go to some other questions here. So Corey, we're gonna come back to you. We didn't forget you. Corey's questions is, are you always sending 100% personalized videos? Is there any level of scale here, etc.? So I'm curious. I have my take on this, but I'm curious what your perspective is as you've been doing this.
I would say they're always fairly personalized within a consistent framework, right? Like I'm starting every video with the reason for my video is I saw you got a new job. I saw you have open roles. I saw that you're the leader. Um, I saw your company is really focused on building internal pathways to next level roles. I saw you're part of this organization that we are also we partner with a lot of partners who are part of that, right? Like you're starting to find ways to say like we are already connected, right? I think that there is this sense of as warm as you can make the intro, the more likely someone is to sort of say, "Oh yeah, this feels familiar. I would love to have a follow-up conversation with you." But from there, it is always something about them. I have sort of a list of 4 or 5 proof points that I'm using based on what the audience is. So I think you can like, I would say it's personalized within a framework or within a system, so that I'm not recreating the wheel every time I sit down. But getting it started as it goes.
Going back to Corey as well. Let us know if that answered your question. The other thing I would say is the only caveat where I'd say you could do um, something at scale if you want to test it is if you're inviting people to like a webinar, like that is something that you could test. Personally, like kind of inviting them there, that's like an example of that. So that's what I would say would be the route to take. So if you want to do that, Corey, I would suggest that. Let's see as well. Okay, so we have a lot of questions around. Okay, so Steven's questions, Larry's question, and also Annabelle's question. This all comes down to process. So what Ryan told me before this is that he has a process that he's going to run through. So this will most likely answer your question. So Ryan, if you want to tell us about what is
Yep.
your process, right? And Sarah, I see your question around the USA. I have a whole thing on that. So we can go on that because I have experience in all the countries, especially in Europe. So we'll dive in that. It's a different answer. But I want to get to Ryan because this answers most of the questions around rough video templates. People are asking for, okay, what are you doing beforehand? So Ryan, walk us through your process on
Yeah.
how are you setting up for these videos? If someone doesn't reply to the video, are you calling them, like, et cetera? So
Yep.
I'll let you go from there.
And Morgan, I think there's some like kind of sequences as well where this sentence can slot into things.
Yep.
I'm doing a LinkedIn request and an email on the first day. Hey, I'm going to be in your inbox. I'm also going to have a LinkedIn request. Typically doing a call or a cold call in that next 2 to 3 days, along with a potential reply to the email.
Okay.
So that's what I would say I'm like starting up the sequence. If someone accepts your LinkedIn request, there's a tendency to get a little like happy feet and be like, oh, I'm gonna ping them right now. That also feels a little like you're like, oh, as soon as I got your LinkedIn request, I immediately, right? Like those are the types of AI related things.
Yeah.
So if someone accepts my LinkedIn request, I generally wait 3 to 5 days. Those are just
Yeah.
getting stacked up in my connections. And then when I have a prospecting block, I can go back and say, hey, who accepted 3 to 5 days ago? I can then go look at whatever email I sent them. Hey, you work at this company. Here's the proof points here. So I've started to kind of build the what will become the bullet points in a potential video message already in my outreach so that it's consistent. Maybe they saw the email, maybe they didn't, but now I'm not a totally random face that's pinging them. Hopefully, they've seen my name at least in their inbox. They've seen the
Mhm.
connection request. It's been a few days, and I'm not like reaching out with this spam. Oh, thank goodness you accepted me. I'm going to hit you immediately. Video message comes in. If someone doesn't reply to the video message, I generally wait about a week and send a quick LinkedIn message that says something to the lines of, "Hey, any feedback on the video?" Right? Just trying to bring this back up in their feed. Um, Sometimes I'll even say like, I'm trying to get better at this. What resonated, what didn't, and and something like that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
people want to give feedback. I think it's sort of a natural thing. If somebody asks you, "Hey, feedback," they'll ping and say, "Yeah, here's the feedback," or whatever it is. So those are a few of the notes that I would put in some of that work, and then. There's additional sequence in the email, but I'm seeing the most success here, so I generally am starting to use LinkedIn. I don't send texts until I've already had a conversation with someone. I think that's just me personally. I feel like unless we're already working together or you know who I am, I'm not going to send a text message, but I will call, I will email, and then some sequence after that in LinkedIn. Hopefully that helps on the process point.
Yeah, okay, so follow up Annabelle, excuse me, Annabelle, let's see. I think Larry, you had a question. I'm making sure I get everybody. Steven, you had a question. Did that answer the questions on processing your question? If it didn't, we'll follow up with you, but I
Yeah.
believe that answered those. If it did not, then follow up with a clarifying question. We got you. And then Thomas, this is gonna sound super cheeky when I say this, like do I recommend being funny or professional? I'm like, you have to be funny. Like, I can't, I can't teach you to be
Yeah, be
funny.
yourself. If you're not a funny guy, like it's gonna fall flat. But if you are a funny guy, then
Yeah.
or a funny woman, be funny. Like I
If
think
it
it's
works, if that's your personality, cool. Like, just lean into what you already would do in a conversation. So,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not teaching people to be funny. That's not what we're here for. If that's you, cool. Follow the frameworks.
Uh,
Okay. Devin,
let
there
me
is video
actually.
recording. I wanted to call that out, but Ryan, yeah, go ahead.
I'm seeing Annabelle's on the rough video template. The three things I'm doing in the video in the template. One is some sort of observation at the top, whether that's, hey, you're in a new job. Um, I think this is where the research comes in. There's some reason that you have to be reaching out to them. I think if you're just like, I'm reaching out because you are a talent leader at a healthcare company, they're like, okay, well, I must be one of 1 million talent leaders at healthcare companies on your list of people to reach out to. Find something unique, make that the observation.
Yeah.
And Morgan talks a lot about like insight tied to that. How do you add value to whatever that observation is? Which can be a lot of times when folks are doing I see this type of open role, they're filling the gap with agency spend, which is a not very cost-effective way to do patient care. Then, if possible, some sort of proof point or connective tissue. What is our company already doing with a similar partner in the space? Or what is the reason that I think we should connect? Right? Proof point can be a little bit easier, a little more tied to that selling motion, but there's also reasons to say like, hey, we are in this innovative kind of healthcare space would love to learn some of the work that you're doing as well. What's that reason to connect? And then ultimately, it's an ask. And I try to frame this. There's different schools of thought here. A little bit lighter with saying like, would you be opposed to like trying to reduce the friction and not pushing? Hey, can I schedule 15 minutes with you next week? If they've been enticed or excited about this video, hopefully that kind of opens them up to say, like, yeah, this is someone I want to connect with. Again, trying to keep it human and personable in there. So I just want to make sure I hit that, Annabelle. Um, and Drew, to your question on calls, calls is a low success rate, but I do find that leaving a voicemail can be helpful because those are all getting transcribed now. So I think that like it's another thing if you can be really quick and snappy in a voicemail, that can even get pushed to a text message depending on what cell service you use, and that is just another signal to say like this is a person who is something interesting to say to me.
Larry said, are you using like a sales off or an outreach or something like that?
We do have a sim like a structure like that, yeah, a tool.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Yo, we're at the halfway point. Hopefully y'all enjoying so far. We got the air horns in here as well. Let's get it. If you've enjoyed this so far, and if you also found this impactful, let us know in the comments and sharing that. Also as well, we're at this point where we're gonna share what we're doing here. So like I said, this is a weekly thing I'm doing. We're bringing on people like Ryan. We got even Traco Ross next week. He's gonna go through his process as well. So in the chat. So one of my team's going to drop the link for the one next week. So if you've enjoyed this conversation and you've actually found this impactful, obviously let us know. But we will keep this going on Fridays as well. If you it seems like y'all like this time. So he's going to drop in the chat. He's gonna say, "Hey, here's what next week we're gonna have Traco. He's been on a webinar before. He's gonna go through his process on LinkedIn, what he's seeing to schedule meetings, what he's found as well, and so that you will obviously at the end of the day can take that and be better, right? So that's the whole entire game. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna open it up for any further questions that people have. If you have questions around what Ryan has said, LinkedIn's videos, the process, we went through everything here, but I want to open it up now to let you all ask questions. And then from there, I'm going to share, hey, what we're doing on the AMP side, and then we'll get out of here. So, anybody have any questions that they want to bring to the table? Now is the time to do that.
Morgan, maybe as questions are coming in, I think one of the questions you asked me early on was like, what clicked? What made this come to life for you? I think when you start to get a few of these positive responses, it like begets more desire to send videos, right? Like there is a, uh, you just got to get started. And so I think my encouragement would be like, just get started, see what's working,
Mm.
um, and go from there. But I think for me, that has been something just to shift the mindset a little bit of like, hey, if you show up every day and do this, the results are going to come. And I think for me, sending videos actually feels a little more engaged in the outbound process.
Yeah.
A sequence or a automated cadence is just like click, you're in the thing. I feel almost removed from that, and I want to show up as a human in my work and in the work that I do with others. And so this is actually a way for me to feel more engaged every day when I show up to work and say like I have to be on my best for at least this 30-minute chunk where I'm sending these videos and making that connection.
100%. And I actually want to go to okay, oh, France. Oh yeah, we'll talk about France here in a minute. I'd say yes, it's a different game. It's a different game. But we're gonna talk about it. So Colton, let me answer you, and then Sarah, I'll go to you because we wanted to talk about that. So Colton, it's thinking about the psychology of the buyer. So I know that if you send someone a Vidyard or a SendSpark, let's just say on LinkedIn, let's not email, on LinkedIn, they're gonna have to click 3 times to watch the video. And if someone doesn't know you, they're just probably not gonna do that because they don't trust you. And I also know this because I sent someone a video that I knew, and they said the only reason I clicked this is because I knew you. If I didn't know you, I wouldn't have clicked it. So then that's when I was like, okay, I can't I can't coach people to do this because like they may not have the same network, right? They may just be starting out their career. So I'm not going to put them at a disadvantage. So I tell people if you're sending on a LinkedIn, I would just not send the video link. And also some of you are gonna be like, well, I want to see if they view the video. It doesn't really matter because if they view it or not, I'm still going to follow up with them. I don't need the data on that. The only time I would do it is if it was in the email. That's a lot different, but in the LinkedIn message, I would stay away from it.
Yeah, no,
Larry,
AI.
yes. Sales nav will be a topic. It won't be next week's topic. We're still gonna stay on DMs, but this month we will cover sales nav. I'm gonna go over that. So stay tuned for that. Stay in the sequence. Did you want to go into something, Ryan, before I answer Sarah?
Oh no, I just Annabelle's question on AI videos, something I have not thought about. I was curious your take. I remember that like early on in COVID when the like lawyer showed up and he was like a cat to the judge and he was like, I don't know how to turn my filter off, sir.
Yeah, I don't even. A talking dog would be crazy. And the thing is, like, maybe people vibe with that if they like dogs, but like I don't know. Like I'd A/B test it. That's my thing. I'm not saying it's gonna work or not because I have not done it personally, so I can't vouch for things I have not done or seen work. But we don't know. So I would A/B test it and be like, try it out. Pick 10 people and be like, let's just
You
see.
get the dog.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, right? Okay, let's go to Sarah. So in France. I know even LinkedIn itself is very difficult to get meetings just because of how the French operate. So what I would tell you is I would probably not do as many cold cold video DMs with primarily in the French region. I would focus on relationships that you've already built in the French region and I would send those people videos and I would ask for probably referrals to get in front of other people. From what I know, it's probably going to be a little bit more formal in the way that you write messages on LinkedIn rather than doing a video from all the French reps that I worked with. But if you were to send a video, you're only going to focus on people you have relationships with. So that's just my contextual understanding. Yeah, no, I work a lot of French reps. It's so formal. So I would not actually send the videos to net new. I would only send to people that you know. And then for everything else, I would index on written messages. Or what I've told a lot of reps to do now is because we have AI, you could voice note out or make a video to someone as if you were having a conversation, transcribe that video into written form so it sounds more like you and does not sound like AI. So these are just ideas, but for the French market itself, I actually would not do that based on my understandings and what I've learned across the board. So hopefully that's helpful, Sarah. Chet, what are some parts of the traditional sales process that are becoming obsolete because buyers can now research almost everything before ever talking to you?
So you want me to answer that, Morgan? You
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
just
answer?
I was seeing if there's more to that. I was kind of I was seeing I was leading the last part. The game is ever evolving. So yeah, like what's your take on that?
Um, I do think some of the formal, like, hey, can you give me a feature list conversations, and even like a demo to some extent, can be a little less strictly information transfer. And it all has, you're building business cases, I think, earlier in the sales process. There's less of a like, hey, let me feel out all the vendors and then I'll go from there with the one I think is right. To me, it has in some ways forced conversations around business case, what's the value here, what are your actual pain points earlier. So I don't think that's moving anything out of a traditional sales process, but I think that there are some elements that have just been condensed in the time frame because there is more information that's available. And at the same time, I think there's a higher burden to be human and cut through the noise, right? If you can buy a bunch of, if you can click through 100 videos to get the information you want, I think ultimately most transactions are going to happen with people that they trust, and that they trust there's going to be value delivered there. I don't know, Morgan, if you have other thoughts.
Yeah, I think when I think about coming out because buyers have more research, I think that the level of qualification probably will be different. More people, like a prime example, more people are searching AI to find solutions and have conversations and doing the research before they get on a call. Like I had a call 2 weeks ago. The person found me through AI for our program, and he already knew a good amount of like who I was and what I was about. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Chet, what is not obsolete is people trusting you and feeling like they can actually get, a benefit or an outcome from you. So I think a lot of like probably upfront research and qualification, like stuff like that will probably be obsolete, but I still believe that the relationship and the trust building is still going to be there. So I don't think that goes away. So that's at least my take on that. Let's see. Thomas, if you're gonna send a video, you want to do it as like the third or fourth touch later in the campaign. So that's what you want to do there. Let's see if there's any questions we missed.
Maybe, Thomas, to answer a potentially different version of that question, I don't send it in an email later in the sequence. Um, I might reference it late in the sequence, but I find again that like LinkedIn has become a tool where videos is a bit of a natural way that it shows up in your feed, right? If you attach that video into a message in an email, it becomes links and it's a little more clunky. It's not going to show up as smooth as it will in LinkedIn.
This is a great question. Curious to Ryan, how you answer this is like, how do you build trust? It's just showing that you like know a little bit about the business. So I always think about what are other people doing or not doing so I can do the opposite of that. So most people on a sales call, they show up on a sales call, they say, "Oh, what's your business about? Tell me about your business." Like they don't have any context, right? So if I hop on a call and say, "Hey, real quick, I did some research before I got on this call. You're hiring these people. It looks like you brought in this new person. Here's a product update. Here's where I think your business is going. Is that accurate?" You're gonna get 1,000 trust points because nobody does that work. Everyone's just going through the motions. So when I think about building trust in a virtual world, let's say if I'm on a call with somebody, that's the best context to share this on is I'm coming in with information to show them like I know what I'm talking about because most people don't. They just like show up and then they just try to wing it, which people are gonna sniff through that. My take though. What about you?
I agree 100%. I think there is a like belief in the work that that person is doing. I think if it gets to a point, like go show up in person, meet people, start to understand the context. Um, and you can do that at conferences. I think if you have a territory, you can start. My work's a little different. I think I can go show up at a hospital or a healthcare setting and start to get a like little bit of the lay of the land of how folks are operating there and what some of the pain points are in a different way, right? A big tech firm might not just let you wander the halls.
Yeah,
Most hospitals won't let you either, but you can at least go in the entryway.
yeah.
For what it's worth. I do think the other thing I would say is your like responsiveness and connection to that individual and really wanting the best for them, right? Like there is a obviously we're trying to make a sale to build that relationship, But that can also mean, and I've done this, there's programs that we don't offer. Someone says, hey, I'm interested in this. Hey, here's a partner who I know does that pretty well. Like you're actually always trying to add value to the prospect. And that
Mhm.
might not be with your product at the end of the day, but if you're adding value, that's going to be remembered in 6 months when they're reevaluating again, or in a year when they need a new solution. So I think that's just maybe the way I operate is how do I add value to you and your day if you're going to take 30 minutes with me? And it hopefully is my solution, but it might not be my solution. And that's okay because I want you to get a win no matter what.
Jacob, did that help answer the question? I hope that it did. As we have about 10 minutes left here, what I want to do is highlight Ryan here. So, Ryan, the couple questions I want to ask you as we wrap up. You mentioned already, but when we came in and worked with you at your previous company and we were working with the SDR team, I want to double click on light bulbs. What were light bulb moments in the program where you were like, okay, I need to do more of this, and let's say expanded your perspective mindset wise? Number two, obviously video, but what are some other things that you continuously are doing as a habit? And the third is where can people find you if they want to connect?
Great questions. I, I use a high filter of, and this is from some of our work together, Morgan, like, would you respond to this? Like, would this sort of like get you excited? That can be an email, that can be and there's a place I think for just information drips in email. But to me, that really shifted. Like, I'm not just trying to blast in and hope. If I were to receive this, would I be like, thanks for that? Or would I be like, delete? We're all doing that all day long, right? I just had to unsubscribe from Michael's because I bought some balloons and I was like, stop sending me 100 emails a day. I don't want any of this information. So, would you respond to it? I think can be a good like first filter that for me kind of clicked into a little bit changing the approach that I did in outreach. Um, and then I think if you can find other folks that you're doing this with, um, whether it's a community here, you find someone, hey, I'm trying this. I found that to be a really successful tool as well. Other things that I'm doing kind of consistently, trying to read, whether it's Morgan, whether it's other leaders here, I want to be always improving. I'll send even, I think, Morgan, I remember when we were in our session, I like shared a video and there's feedback there of, hey, you missed this or this was a little bit of a stumble. And like, don't be afraid to be corrected and to grow in the process. Those are some of maybe my like learnings in it today. And then the other thing is I would say just get to know your industry really well, right? Not just like, oh, what are my competitors or whatever, but like, what are the real problems that your buyers are facing on a day-to-day basis? And if you can start to get into their shoes, I think that's when you really can up level your videos, your outreach, your understanding of the space. And so I would say I just try to be a student, be a learner whenever you can. I have two young kids at home, and so I feel like I'm learning in so many realms always. Like, why won't you eat your dinner? All the way to like, how do I navigate through what are the challenges in this industry? So be a learner would be my big advice as we kind of wrap up here. Did I hit all your questions?
You hit them all. Oh, the last thing is where can
Oh,
people
where you
find
find
you?
me?
Where can people find you?
I'm linked. I'm right here in Denver in my basement. That's where you can find me. No, I will put my link on LinkedIn is probably the best place to find me. You can also send me an email, but I might not respond.
At
And
least you're being
that's
honest with the people.
that's the best place to find me, or you can find me on my bike. So if you want to go for a ride, if you're in Denver at all, hit me up. And that's those are the two best places to find me.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up here, to let you all go into your Friday and the weekends, a couple of asks that I'm gonna have coming out of here. Number one is as you come out of this Muffins with Morgan today. You will have a survey. Please fill out a survey. Give us feedback on how we can continuously be better and improve. My commitment with this is this being a weekly show where there's no hypotheticals here, as you all saw. Like it's just we're gonna get into it. Here are the results. Here's what people have done. Real conversations. I appreciate everyone that came in today with some fantastic questions. Shout out to all of you for doing that. And then we'll also drop again. The second thing is the link to the one next week. So we're gonna have Traco Ross on. He's gonna be talking about his LinkedIn DM process. He's going to be talking about what he's doing. Again, just continuously giving you all a game on your master plan and how you can be better as reps, but also we have some leaders in here as well. And then also as well the program that we walk through, Sales Team 6. So that's what we do here at Ab Social in 45 days. We go through social selling, cold calling, conversational skills for you to be successful. So if that is you and you're like, man, I need my team to just be better and they need to commit to better outbound, that's what we're doing over here. So really excited for everyone that came through. Tons of great insights that we covered. Again, we'll be here next Friday at the same time. Ryan, thank you so much for coming through, man, and providing some insights and getting the people excited here on a Friday and the weekend.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Morgan.
All right, cheers, everybody.